What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 17, and we start today's episode off with some more player training, and as you can see, Shaw is now up to a 71 rated left back. His stamina is 73. I think when he gets to 75 stamina, I might stop training that. But you might notice as well, in the drills we've got, he's got keep up the pace is his training drill, and it trains his sprint speed, but there's no drill, or at least I haven't found a drill that can train acceleration. So you might notice his sprint speed right now, I believe, is 77. Yet his acceleration is only 55, so it's a bit of a weird opposite to have there. You know, he's not, he's slow off the mark, but he's quick when he gets going. I really hope that next year EA sort of improve the training drills and what attributes gets trained in which drills, because some of them seem completely arbitrary and very random. But regardless, I did find this quite funny. Obviously, in the last couple of episodes, you guys have been watching me, you know, sort of diss the player conversations a little bit. I've mentioned before, I'm glad they're in the game. It's a step in the right direction from EA, but they are still a bit ridiculous, including that one there, the most ridiculous of the lot. Hennigan, who came back from loan during the season, our 8th choice centre back, says he feels he deserves a new contract and a wage increase as he's progressing in training. And I was like, really, Ben? Let me take a look at that. You've grown one rating and you've already agreed to join a new club on a pre-contract come the end of the season. So even if I wanted to, I can't give you a new contract. How ridiculous is that? Like, I can't do anything about that. But anyway, first game of this episode, of course, the penultimate game of the Premier League campaign, coming on the back of that loss away against Leicester in the last episode. Obviously, our run of form of late has been really poor. I believe it's 6 defeats in 9, or perhaps 6 defeats in our last 10 games in all competitions. Now taking on the Toffees here at Bramwell Lane in our final home game of the season, already going a goal down, and Tony had to put us back on level terms with 11 minutes to go. Our run of form of late has been really poor. Of course, we had those big back-to-back victories against Burnley and then Wolves as well, but we haven't really been playing that well in the recent weeks. But it was great to see Tony back on the score sheet once again. This man's been on fire since coming in. 8 goals in the Premier League this year, and great to see Donna Brennan getting a rare start, get his first assist in a Sheffield United shirt as well. But you might have missed it on the build-up there to the goal. Lundstrom was taken down and forced off through injury for Freeman. So penultimate game of the season, nothing to play for us now. We're mathematically safe, and Lundstrom stretched it off the pitch. That's a bit of a worrying sign there for a player who I do like a lot with a medium-high work rate and a 5-star weak foot. Still, 1-1 the final score in a game where we were basically saying goodbye to quite a lot of our players in a much changed lineup. But in the 52nd minute, we got ourselves a goal kick here after Gomez's strike went way over the bar. And I got to be honest, I was absolutely fuming at this moment because it's the second time it's happened this season. Of course, you guys would have seen earlier in the campaign against Wolves at Molineux, I did the same thing, passed out from the goal kick and it went straight to an opposition player. But that was because I was hammering down the X button out of frustration. This time, I clearly meant to pass the ball to Phil Jagielka. And for some reason, the game thought I was trying to pass it to Basham. Moise Keane runs in, intercepts, and makes it 2-1. And I was so bloody annoyed at that goal because, you know, the passing in this year's FIFA, I do like it, it's pretty decent, but sometimes the perception of where you're trying to pass the ball is completely wrong. Why on earth would I try and pass the ball to Basham there with Keane lurking when Jagielka's right there? Of course I'm trying to give it to Jagielka. So annoying that the game just auto-assigned it to Basham instead. Anyway, Keane makes it 2-1, and then Andre Gomez makes it 3-1 in a pretty balanced game, I thought. I thought we were harshly done by to be 3-1 down at this point. And then in stoppage time here, still trailing by 2 goals, Alex Iwobi goes down left-hand side, turns his man, back to Lucas Digne, back into Iwobi, who smashed it past Dean and makes it 4-1. Final score at Bramwell Lane, Sheffield United 1, Everton 4, our final home game of the season, ends in a really bad defeat. I thought 4 was a really harsh scoreline as well. Everton scored with basically every single shot they took on target in this game, apart from 1. It was very, very frustrating. I don't think 4-1 really accurately reflected the game, especially not that ridiculous Moise Keane goal. But still, 4-1 the final score, and not a great way to end the season either with that defeat. 3 defeats on the trot, and now this as well. John Lundstrom has done his ACL, just like Oliver McBurney against Chelsea back in January, who missed, of course, all of this second half of the campaign. Lundstrom is going to be out until about December time. Another 7-month injury, another ACL. When it rains, it pours at Bramwell Lane, and Sheffield United fans can tell you that much, seriously. 3 defeats on the bounce to end the season. Now Lundstrom is going to be out for 7 months. He's been one of our most consistent players this year in the Premier League. 31 games out of our 37 we've played so far. He's only picked up the 1 assist, but Lundstrom isn't really known for getting forward, whilst he is in real life. He's an FPL king right now, isn't he? He's a great little budget option for you. But in our team, he's more of a sort of does the dirty work sort of player. He signed that extension as well back in December, I think it was, for another 3.5 years. Now he's going to be out for the first half of next campaign as well. That's such a shame, man. Seriously, because I really like Lundstrom. Mentioned it during the game. 5-star weak foot, medium-high work rates. He does the dirty work that you don't see in the highlights. So knowing he's going to be out until December time at the very earliest, big blow. And again, when it rains, it pours for Sheffield United. 3 defeats on the trot. I believe now 7 defeats in 10 or 11 games in all competitions. And now Lundstrom out with the ACL. Just a really tough way for us to be ending our first season in the Premier League, which on the whole has been very good. You know, we're several points clear of the bottom 3. We've guaranteed survival with several games to go. I would have taken that at the start of the season and bitten your hand off had you offered it to me. You know, we reached the FA Cup round of 16 as well. It's been a very good first season for us, but it's not come without adversity. Some big injury blows to have to deal with, and some really bad runs of form in the midst of all that as well. But still, 1 game to go in the Premier League. Of course, as you can see right now, nothing left to be decided at the bottom of the table. As we talked about, Aston Villa, Norwich and Southampton are going down. Aston Villa, what on earth happened to them in the recent weeks? I do not know. They beat us, and since then, again, I don't think they've picked up a single win after that. Very disappointing for Aston Villa, but we'll certainly be looking at some of their players, and Norwich players, and Southampton players as well. Now they're down to the Championship for next season. Wouldn't mind keeping a few of their players in the Premier League and playing for us next year. And on the Premier League final day, of course, the title is still to be decided between Spurs and Liverpool. Win for Spurs would guarantee their first ever Premier League title. For us, of course, nothing to play for on the final day, just pride, and same for Southampton as well, who didn't want to finish the season bottom of the table, taking them on away at St Mary's. And on the back of that run of 3 straight defeats, I really wanted to go out with a win, and the first chance would fall to us 26 minutes as well. Shaw down left hand side coming forward, rolling it into Tony. Good save by Angus Gunn, who turns behind for a corner, and from that corner Tony again gets up, and again it's Angus Gunn frustrating our top scorer in the second half of the season. So still 0-0, across the middle, O'Connell's headed in, also saved by Angus Gunn, who was having the first half of his life there, as it was still goalless. He was having Leicester City flashbacks, I think, but it was still 0-0, and in the second half, 5 minutes after the restart, we continue to attack. We've been the better team in the first half, and most of our players coming down left-hand side through Ollie Shaw, as he finds John Fleck. The teenager continues to run, beats Jan Bednarek to the ball, holds him off, whips the ball into the centre, and there is Callum Robinson, our top scorer of the whole season, making it 1-0. Didn't realise he was playing with a knock at this point, so took him off after the game. Thankfully, it was just a slight knock and not a serious injury. Thank goodness for that. Hallelujah, right? But still, Robinson with the goal. It's 1-0, and Shaw gets his first assist in a Sheffield United shirt all season long. And then he said, I quite like doing this assist lark. I'll get another one, shall I? A few minutes later, it's Ollie to Ollie, cross the ball into the centre, and picks out the captain, Norwood, who fires it into the back of the net. And 2 quick-fire goals for Sheffield United put us 2-0 up here, 10 minutes after the restart. And it was Ollie Shaw in this game who was running the show. And of course, this season, we've got Stevens, we've got Osborne. You might have noticed all through the campaign, I've been rotating the 3 left backs in order, really. Shaw, then Stevens, then Osborne has been my 1-2-3 for the most part. But I think Shaw next season is definitely going to be our starting left back, and one of Stevens or Osborne will be getting sold. You've got to remember, this guy is just 17 years old. We've been hammering him in training and giving him free drills, as I mentioned pretty much every single episode at the start of the episode, and he's been brilliant. Great couple of assists there. His first 2 in the Premier League. Great man of the match display in a much deserved victory where we completely dominated from start to finish. Shaw had an absolute stormer in this game as well. 2-0 the final score. Great to get our first clean sheet in weeks and weeks and weeks as well, and a great way to end the campaign too, ending with a victory to put a stamp on what has been a very successful first year in the top flight. So the curtain comes down the Premier League season. This is the final Premier League table. Spurs are crowned champions, finishing 2 points clear of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool in second place. Manchester City and Chelsea round up the Champions League place in the top 4. Manchester United finished 5th, Leicester in 6th, and Wolves in 7th, with Arsenal dropping to 8th after 38 games. Everton and Crystal Palace rounded up the top 10. Massive gap, by the way, though, between Everton and Crystal Palace in 9th and 10th, with 13 points being the difference. And as for us, we finished in 12th place this season with 39 points on the board, 10 wins, 9 draws, and 19 defeats in our 38 games, 40 goals scored, and 65 conceded. So we lost half our games this year, but still managed to finish, I think it was 16 points clear of Aston Villa in 18. So the bottom 3 were Aston Villa, Norwich and Southampton. We've known that for quite some time, to be honest, and I think that sort of shows you how bad some of the teams were in the bottom half of the table towards the end of the campaign. Aston Villa only picked up 1 point, I believe, in the last seven games, about that. Absolutely crazy, but regardless, season of celebration, we do survive in the Premier League by quite some distance as well, and a very successful first campaign in the top flight. But that was today's episode of Career Mode, guys, so big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. There is going to be an end of season special coming out tomorrow afternoon, where we'll take an in-depth look at the save, like in my Football Manager save, so hopefully you guys will enjoy my FM videos, will enjoy that style of video. That'll be coming out tomorrow afternoon, where we take an in-depth look at the team and what's been going on around the world, plus our transfer shortlist heading into season 2 as well, which will begin on Friday afternoon. So thanks for watching, guys. Much love to you all. Hope you've enjoyed the season finale, and I'll see you for the end of season special tomorrow afternoon.